What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do yet another headphone versus earbud challenge where we got the Audio-Technica ATH-m50xBT2 headphones going up against the Audio-Technica ATH-TWX9 earbuds. This should be a really interesting head-to-head. I want to see exactly how these two square off and see who will come out the better out of these two. Now, if you want to see price specs and app breakdowns for either of these, as always, I'll leave links in the description below to my unboxing videos for both. That way you can go ahead and take a look at that. I'll also leave links in the description for where you can pick up one or even both of these if you are so inclined to. And as always, just go ahead and hit a like. And then go ahead and if you want to join me, continue with me on this journey, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell. It all helps out the channel. You can also join my Patreon page, patreon.com/RonaldTech73. Become a paid member. That also helps bring in new tech and things to review. All right, enough of that sales pitch. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the action. All right, we're back in. We're going to start off with the M50xBT2s. I'm just going to call them the M50s. We got them on. Now, a couple things about these headphones. First off, they do not have noise canceling. So there is no, we're just really working with noise isolation from the ear cups. Second of all, in order to be able to use LDAC, I have to turn off the equalizer. So there is no EQ help at all because it's been turned off, and we're using LDAC to get the best LDAC codec that we can get. All right, so we have it turned on here, and if we go into our settings, we're going to make sure that it is turned on here in the phone as well. LDAC is turned on. Okay, so we are good there. Actually, you know what? Let's go one better. All right, let's go one better. All right, and you can see we are at 96 kilohertz, and we are rocking what's that, 32-bit. Okay, so let's see. We're doing good. All right, I just wanted to make sure we are doing as we should. Okay, so we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and get into our first song. We are at our listening level, preferred listening level, below the orange line, just below it. All right, let's make sure. Let's get it. Here we go. Song number 1. All right, good. Nice volume. Could be a little louder. Great clarity, great detail too. All right, with the background vocalist coming in, shows a really good sound stage. Nice separation between them all. Again, got the hesitation detail or the breathing. You're picking that up. The pronunciation of the words, the B's, the T's, the P's. They're there. They're not popping real hard, but you can pick that up. Yeah, I just love the detail. Nice clarity as well. I didn't mention that before, but the clarity is definitely there. Sounds really, really good. I just wish these were just a little louder naturally. All right, but other than that, they sound really good. That sound stage, like I mentioned, nice and wide, good spacing between the vocalist, the background, and the lead vocalist. So really, really good. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the X9s and see how they do. All right, we're back in. We got the X9s in the air. We're in hear-through mode now. Now, what we're going to do here, because there's a couple nuances with these, as well as with the M40, the headphones there. All right, so we got these do not have LDAC, but they do use aptX adaptive. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. But because of that, they can use the equalizer. So what we're going to do, just to keep it balanced, we're going to turn off the EQ. All right. And we're going to we're going to turn off the ambient controls. All right. So just so we can keep it as close to fair as possible, just to match up with the headphones and everything. So again, we've got aptX adaptive on the earbuds. Whoops. As I knock over the case, the earbuds, we got LDAC on the headphones. But that's how it is when you go with the M50s and everything. So what we're going to do now is we're going to check our volume level, make sure we are right where we should be. We are there. All right. And I know I'm going to get a lot of blowback about not using the equalizer when I could, and you should have just used it and zeroed out everything. But this is how I'm going to do it, just so I can get as fair a test as possible. I just want to check something. All right. So yeah, it says even enable EQ. So it shows that the equalizer is not working. All right, good. All right. So let's go ahead and first song. Whoops, hit the wrong button. All right. Well, hold on. What am I doing here? Let me get this right. I'm on the wrong one. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Had it a little mixed up there. All right, here we go. First song with the X9s after all my craziness. Here we go. All right, again, nice clarity. Again, just like the M50s, I wish these were a little bit louder naturally. But you get good clarity. Soundstage is nice. Got good separation with the lead vocalist and the background vocalist. All right. I heard that inhale before she started singing again. Got detail there. The enunciation is not as powerful. The B's and P's, T's are not as powerful, but they're there. So you're getting that detail. And nice clarity when it comes into when it gets all three of them in. Nice sounds, nice separation. Very clean. All right. Again, I like the way these sound. Again, I wish they were just a little more naturally loud as far as volume goes. But you get good clarity, and you get really nice sound separation and detail out of these as well. So let's go ahead and flip over to our second song. All right, we're back in for our second song, which I like to call the bass test. We got the M50s in rather, so or on. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Now, nice thump and nice reverb as the low end fades away nicely. But again, the overall sound of them, I wish their volume was a little bit more louder. All right. Um, Again, now the auto tune with T-Pain is not as piercing, smooth. It's smoothed out nicely, so it makes it for a more comfortable listen for me. But the lyrics are very clear. I do like that. I do like that bass. I would just wish it was a little bit louder naturally. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me see. Okay. So it's not only that, but I think it would help out a lot with the EQ. Again, they give nice vocals, nice clarity with E40. I just had to test that and see if I turned it up a little bit, if that basic drop will be driven home a little more. But no, I just think it just needed help, assistance with the EQ. But anyway, as it is. Nice clarity with the lyrics. The auto tune was smoothed out nicely, so it made it a lot more pleasant to listen to. And you got good spacing there as well. It sound good. Just like I said, I just wish these guys were just a little naturally louder. And it'll make a whole lot of difference with these headphones. All right, let's go ahead and switch these over to the X9s and see how they do. All right, we're back in. We got the X9s rather. Second song, let's go. All right, again, nice thump with the bass, but I'm not hearing the low end. I'm not hearing the reverb. All right, now T-Pain with the auto tunes come in. Again, nice and smoothed out, not as piercing on that high note. So just like the M50s, it give me a really good listening experience when it comes to the auto tune. All right, just to be fair, we're gonna turn this up a little bit. Okay. Now, that improved the bass. Now I can hear the low end, the reverb fade away, but I shouldn't have to do that. All right, now we got E40 coming in, sounding very clear. The lyrics, very clear from both artists. Again, I just wish these was a little bit more naturally loud. All right, let me pause that. Wish these were a little bit more naturally louder. I think it would have brought out a lot more of the bass and the reverb on these guys because that low end is clean. Once I moved it up, turned it up a little bit, you could hear it. It faded away nicely, and it was a real clean bass. But it just needs to be natural. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to our final song. All right, we're back in. We got the M50s on. Final song, Kenny G Home. Let's go. All right, right off the top, nice, crisp, clear vocals. Okay. Now that transition from the high keys to the low keys was subtle. Now you got the lead saxophone come in. Nice, crisp sound. Again, the natural volume, I think it kind of helps it in this song. I wish it was a little louder naturally, but I think it works on this one. Nice and crisp. Very clear, though. I love the clarity. It's nice. Echoing. You get good detail there. It sounds so good. Very clean. Again, nice sound stage. So you got good separation between the keyboard and the saxophone. So you got that good spacing there. I went over a little bit, but that's okay. You get that good spacing in there. I like the way they did that. I like the way these headphones gives you that spacing, the widen the sound stage and everything. So it sounds really, really good. I just got into it just listening with these headphones on. All right. So let's go ahead and switch over to the X9s and see how they do on our final song. All right, we are back in. We got the X9s in the air. Final song, let's go. All right, right off the top, nice, crisp, clear high keys. All right, again, that transition from the high keys to the low keys was pretty much non-existent. But that lead saxophone came in as nice and crisp. Again, I like the soundstage with the keyboard and saxophone. I love the separation there. And the clarity is really good. I like it. I really do. Very clean. It just seems like the saxophone sounds real crisp. I'm just picking up different detail out of it and everything. Let me pause this. Oops. All right, I got a little bit more details. It's like, oh, I didn't hear that in the headphones, but because of the clarity with the saxophone, I was getting more detail as far as his tone and everything like that while playing. So I picked up some stuff off in the earbuds that I did not get on the headphones, which is pretty surprising for me. But again, I wish the volume, the sound good. It did help work in their favor in this song, but me personally, wish they were more a little bit louder naturally, as opposed to having to turn it up in order to get the actual sound that I want. Again, we are working without EQ help on both of these, so that could be also paying that could also be contributing to it as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cleaned up. We'll come back. We'll talk about these briefly, and we'll pick our winner. Stay strapped in. All right, this has been another fun episode of the Headphones versus Earbud Challenge, where we have the Audio-Technica lineup, where we got the ATH-m50xBT2 headphones. That's a mouthful. And we have the ATH-TWX9 earbuds. All right, so again, like I said, a lot of fun with these. Both of them could have been used. It could be a little bit louder naturally. Both of these. So again, but yet they got great clarity when it came to the instruments and the vocals. The clarity was definitely there. So before I get out of pocket here and start going all over the place, let's song by song. Let's stay on track here. All right. So first song again, great clarity when it came to the vocalist, lead and background on both of them. Both of them exhibited a nice sound stage, so you got good separation between all three. As always, the right ear, the singer on the right was in my right ear, the singer on my left was on my left ear, and then of course when they all were singing together, they just made just one real nice, almost panoramic sound, and on both of them. All right, you got good detail when it came to her enunciation, her breathing. And when I already said enunciation, but just the nuances in the song, you got good detail there on both of them. I think, however, though, it was a little bit better on the M50s here. All right, now going into our second song, again, the bass was a little bit better. Was a little bit well, actually, yeah, it was a little bit better on the M50s than it was on the X9, especially because I could hear the bass hit and the reverberation, the reverb fade away, the low end just fade out. I could hear it hit on the M50s where I could not hear it on the X9. So you hear the bass drop, but that was it. I mean, man, when I had to turn it up in order to hear that fade away, that low end fade away there, that I could hear just perfectly fine without having to turn it up on the M50. So that's there. Of course, both of them smoothed out the auto-tune, the high pitchiness sound of the auto-tune. It was smoothed out nicely. So the lyrics came through very clear and everything, and wasn't kind of made it comfortable for me to listen to that song, is particular, especially with the auto-tunes. For some reason, certain earbuds, it just hits my ear different and makes it just very uncomfortable to listen to music. Listen to that particular song, although I love the bass. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Now going into our third song, again, I think the low volume, or the lack of louder volume, kind of worked in their favor in this one. The clarity of the saxophone, very crisp. I liked it. Great separation between the two. I seem to pick up a little bit more detail with the X9s than I did with the M50s here. I'm sorry. However, the transition from the high keys at the beginning, from the high keys on the keyboard to the lower keys, it was definitely prevalent. You could definitely hear it in the M50s, but it was almost non-existent in the X9s. Because I don't know why, but I couldn't hear that the low end. When you hit the low end keys, you got a nice little rumble there with them. You couldn't hear that with the X9s, where you got it really nice and prominent in the M50s. So again, like I said, the lead saxophone, very crisp, nice sound stage, good separation there, nice balance as well when it came to both instruments. That's it for the third song. Now, if I had to walk out the door, with all that being said, if I had to walk out the door and I could only take one of these with me, which one would I go with? Um, yes, yeah, you know, again, you got the equalizer and stuff. You can do all these things and fix them up, and you know, address these sound issues that I was talking about. But if I wanted, if I was going to take one out, I think I would go with the MB50s. Yes, these guys does not have noise canceling, but I really get good sound isolation out of these. And of course, I think the bass is a little bit better on these. I even, you know, they're without even the EQ, the bass was better in my opinion on these than it was on the X9s. I mean, you got some good clarity points here with the X9s as well. Um, again, I like both of them. I wish they both were a little bit naturally had a natural higher volume than what they do now. Instead of me having to turn them up to like 3/4 or maybe of the way up in order to get the desired sound that I want. Again, like I said, I wasn't using the equalizer on either one of these to keep it completely fair. So there is that too in the app. You can go ahead and change it out, make your changes and stuff like that. But still, even with that being said, I would still take the M50s out with me if I had to choose between the two. All right. So my winner in this head-to-head, although it was close, will be the M50X BT2 headphones. These they get the win over the X9. So that wraps up this episode of the headphone versus gauntlet challenge. This has been great. I got other ones I want to get done before I break out my top fives and top tens for the year. You know, we're closing in on the final week of December, and you know that's when I'll go ahead and drop all those as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you are a subscriber, and you want to make sure you got your notifications turned on. So when those hit, you want to definitely know what's going on and be able to tune in and check those out. All right. So again, my winner on this head-to-head is the M50xBT2s of course, by Audio-Technica. I do like the X9s as well. They're a really solid pair of headphones. They just have these discrepancies that keeps them um, from being a heavy usage in my rotation, in my opinion. But they're still a really solid pair of headphones. All right, so go ahead and hit me with a like, share, subscribe, hit notification bell, sign, sign, become a paid member on my Patreon channel, and it all helps out the channel. Helps me bring more product and more content to you and everything. And I hate to ask that. I really do, but it is what it is. So help, you know, thanks for all those who help. Thank you very much. And for those who are thinking about it, thank you very much. And for those who are not, hey, thank you for at least watching the video. All right. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.